Alright, what's up everyone, I'm Loki, and apparently Antonio Brown has retired from the NFL, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about what that could mean for the Seattle Seahawks. Before that though, if you go on to enjoy this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you're new, and also go follow me on Twitch. Birthday stream July 31st, and go subscribe to my second channel. Alright, post-recording Loki here, and I just noticed that someone named Loki is the best followed me on Twitch recently, and I asked my friends because I thought it was a gag if it was any of them, and apparently it's none of my friends, so let me know in the comments if that's you, because I think that's pretty funny. Link in the description below. Now, to get into the video, yesterday Antonio Brown went on Twitter and ended up saying that basically he's retiring in a series of 3 tweets. The first tweet says, "It is time to walk away, I've done everything in the game." And then he quickly followed that up and said, "At this point, the risk is greater than the reward. Thank you to everyone who's been a part of this journey. I sincerely thank you for everything. Life goes on, 84. Which then he finally ended his little series saying, "I came, I saw, I conquered, mission complete, call God." Now with these tweets, it seems pretty obvious to me that Antonio Brown is basically saying that he's retiring from football, and that's kind of been the common consensus. I mean, he basically said he has nothing left to prove, which is completely right, because he's going to be a Hall of Famer, almost guaranteed. I mean, there might be a little bit of a thing between him and the NFL, but from what he did on the football field, Antonio Brown is a Hall of Famer. No one can really say he's not. And he said, at this point, the risk is greater than the reward. I think for Antonio Brown, the only reward would be respect and money. And I don't think Antonio Brown cares about how people think of him. And money, obviously, Antonio Brown doesn't need money. And I mean, he's doing music now. I guess he's just content doing music. So, I mean, I completely respect Antonio Brown's decision. You know, the Seahawks were a big player in trying to get Antonio Brown, probably the only real player trying to get Antonio Brown. And there were a lot of things coming out saying that they've basically stopped wanting to go after Josh Gordon so that they could get Antonio Brown. But it's going to be kind of interesting to see what happens now. If the Seahawks still want to add to the wide receiver group, who will they go after? I really think, I've been saying it consistently, I think Josh Gordon is the better option. And, you know, now that Antonio Brown's gone, do the Seahawks go back into trying to get Josh Gordon? Josh Gordon has said a lot of things on Instagram and a lot of things on Twitter saying that he just wants to play football. He wants to be signed to a team. And, I mean, I would love for Josh Gordon to go back to the Seahawks. Obviously, he played with us last year for a little bit. He had some opportunities, but, you know, he found himself in trouble once again. But I think Josh Gordon is definitely a good option to bring in, and it'll be interesting to see what the Seahawks do now that Antonio Brown is basically off the table. Now, one thing I quickly wanted to talk about, because I really haven't seen anyone mention it, is the fact that Antonio Brown, he got traded from the Steelers in 2018, I believe, for a 3rd rounder and a 5th rounder, and everyone was clowning the Steelers for getting almost nothing for their superstar wide receiver. So, I mean, the Steelers, they basically just cut Antonio Brown. No other team had him play for them, and they got a 3rd rounder and a 5th rounder, and they ended up picking Deontay Johnson with the 3rd rounder that they ended up getting. And Deontay Johnson, I mean, I'm no Steelers fan, but he looks pretty good. He looks like an interesting prospect at wide receiver, so I think the Steelers did pretty well here. And honestly, for the Steelers to basically just get picks for free and Antonio Brown doesn't play for another team, just props to the Steelers for just basically making the best out of a bad situation, and they really won this entire thing. A lot of people were thinking that the Steelers, since they got nothing, Antonio Brown's going to go to a different team and just absolutely destroy the NFL and just do insanely well. But, I mean, Antonio Brown didn't play a single game. The Steelers got free picks, and they got a pretty good wide receiver that has a lot of potential. But what does this mean for the Seattle Seahawks? Now, there are a lot of things coming out saying that the Seahawks were really interested in Antonio Brown. I think Mike Lombardi even said it himself, saying that the Seahawks were super interested in Antonio Brown. But now that Antonio Brown's gone, what are the Seahawks going to do? With a wide receiver group of Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Philip Dorsett, and maybe a Josh Gordon if we end up picking him up, I think that's good enough. I think Antonio Brown would have been overkill, and he possibly could have brought some locker room problems, because he probably would have thought that he was a #1 receiver, but the Seahawks wouldn't have wanted to play him like that. And I think last year was a clear demonstration that, I mean, Josh Gordon, he's a team player. He didn't get all the opportunities. He wasn't a #1 wide receiver. He probably wasn't even a #2 wide receiver on the Seattle Seahawks, but he enjoyed being on that team. He said nothing but good things about the team, and he never really caused any problems. Obviously, he had some drug issues, but when it came to locker room problems, he really didn't have any. And I really like Josh Gordon as a player. I think he's a good player. I think he's a good person. He's a good teammate. So I would love to see the Seahawks try to go after Josh Gordon now that Antonio Brown is gone. but I've been saying it this whole offseason. I think the Seattle Seahawks make a big move before the preseason starts, and I really hope they sign Everson Griffin and then probably sign Josh Gordon. I think those are two big moves that the Seahawks can make to really make them better for this year, and they'd be pretty risk-free moves. Everson Griffin would be just a good player to get, a good pass rush help. Josh Gordon, he's a good teammate, not a locker room problem, good player, and if he can actually stay out of drug problems, I think that he can be a big help for the team. And yeah, honestly, I just think the Seahawks are going to make a big move now that Antonio Brown isn't there. I think there are two main options when it comes to making a move. I think it's Everson Griffin. I think it's Josh Gordon. There's a potential that we could pick up Clowney. I don't really want us to. There's a potential we could trade for Yannick Ngakoue. I don't really want us to. That'd be a little bit expensive. Jamal Adams, I mean, I don't think the Jets are trading him, but I guess that's an option as well. But right now, I think Everson Griffin and Josh Gordon are the two options for the Seattle Seahawks. I think the Seahawks make those big moves and then just go into the next season. I think it'll be a good season. I think those two players will have a big impact on the team and help a lot. And yeah, then that's basically what I think. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. What should the Seahawks do now that Antonio Brown is basically off the market? Who do the Seahawks go for before the season starts? Or do the Seahawks even go for anyone before the season starts? Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this. And yeah, like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new. Go follow me on Twitch, subscribe to my second channel. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.